Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Can you believe we're back to Thursday already? Hope everybody's doing good. Tonight we're going to work on these three projects, and I decided to use some product from the Sale-a-Bration catalog. Now this runs until February 28th, and I chose the friendly Hello bundle. It comes with this beautiful designer series paper and this stamp set. And it is the photopolymer stamps. And as you all know, the cases now, you can store your stamps right inside the case and you don't have to put them back on the acetate. And I usually save my pieces of acetate and use them for like shaker cards. And just as a reminder, if you're interested in joining Stampin' Up, either as a demonstrator, hey everybody, how are you? Hey Do, hi Dawn, hi Carol. Ooh, Central Florida, you're supposed to get cold this weekend. If you're interested in saving on your crafty goodness, you can always join. There's a special until the catalog ends, and for $99 you get $125 worth of product, and then you get to choose 2 additional stamp sets. So it's a really nice deal. If you're interested, I'd love to have you on my team. So like I said, we're using this set here, and it is free. The paper and the stamp set is free with a $100 purchase. Hope everybody's doing good. I know many of us are on the East Coast are awaiting snow. Hopefully, Pennsylvania, our little neck of the woods, I don't think we're going to get any. And if we do, it'll be a big surprise. Yes, it's supposed to get very cold, Carol. The temperatures across Florida are supposed to be in the 20s and 30s. That is crazy. Crazy, crazy. Okay, so for tonight, we're going to make these 3 projects. We're just going to do a portrait card and just using lots of layers, the stamp, and the designer series paper. And then I decided to do something a little different. And instead of making a card that opens, I made this card, and the center piece I created as an insert. So just something a little different. So we're not doing the same sort of cards each week. And then for the third project, I decided to make this cute little triangle box. And the flaps just open up, and then you can fill the inside with your treats. So just something quick and easy, and it just slips right in, just like that. And then I have the bird. Now we're working with Basic White and Pool Party tonight, and the real reason I'm doing this is thanks, Dawn. The reason I'm doing it in Basic White and Pool Party, to be honest, is I cut too many card kits for my January subscription, craft box subscription. So I decided to use up the extra that I cut. So we're starting out with an 11 by 4 1/4 piece, and we are going to score it at 5 1/2. Then we're going to pick up our Pool Party, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And you don't have to worry about the dimensions. I will have a PDF for these projects in the room. Hey, Kathy. Thank you so much, Carol. a PDF in the room tomorrow. Then I have another basic white, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. And then our piece of designer series paper, which is beautiful on both sides. But I decided to use the colorful side, and this I believe is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, so we're just going to layer these together, and I am going to use my glue again tonight. Just gives me a couple extra seconds to move my layers around. I know sometimes when I use that snail, or seal, I should say, I put it down and then I have to try to make it even, and it doesn't work all the time. So it's just safer with the glue. So all I'm going to do is layer each of these pieces. Nice, quick, and easy. And the paper, you could actually I could have used any of these background colors. Pale papaya, fresh freesia, granny apple green. This one is the evening evergreen. So, and then here's the pool party. So you could use a variety of different matte layers to create the same exact card, but with a different look and colors. Okay, so here is the front of our card. How you doing, Kathy? Quick and easy. Then I used the stitched rectangles, and I actually did pull out the evening evergreen to create my layer, and then our basic white. Now this piece I cut so it fits inside the stitching, and it's a little over 2 inches by 3 3/8. And I just wanted that to fit right inside the stitching. So let me just grab a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to actually use my silicone mat. And I actually pulled shaded spruce. I didn't grab the evening evergreen because I believe I made a mistake. This is the shaded spruce. But I grabbed the evening evergreen just for a darker green color. And what we're going to do first is we are going to stamp the sentiment. And I actually chose the "You Have My Love and Support." So let's just grab my block, and of course there's ink on it. And I'm going to actually stamp my sentiment first. Let me just grab a wipe so I can clean my finger. Of course. Yes, I am doing very well. Thank you for asking. Things have pretty well settled down very nicely. My husband's feeling much, much better. And we are just going to take everything one day at a time. Okay, so I'm just going to ink up my stamp. And I think I showed you last week, Alt New has this eraser that you can actually, when you have new photopolymer stamps, you can rub this on the stamp itself, and it allows the ink to adhere a little better. You can use a pencil eraser. It works just the same. So I did do it to my stamp before I started. And now that I've used it once already, it will ink up and stamp much better. So we're just going to line this up. Make sure I have this on here straight. And stamp our sentiment. And while I have the ink pad out, you'll notice that behind the bird, I do have some leaves. And I used this stamp from the set, and I actually stamped off and then stamped because I didn't want it to be so dark behind the bird. So we're just going to stamp. We're just going to add these leaves down here to the bottom. I'm going to put one this way. And I just did this to fill in my white space. Just like that. And then we're going to get rid of that stamp. And I'm actually going to grab, oops, this little flower with the leaves, and you will find them also, the same stamps, on the designer series paper. Thanks, Karen. That's okay. I know you were probably outside with your horses. I bet you it's cold. And I'm going to grab, and I put it away actually, my fresh freesia. And I'm just going to ink this stamp up. And I'm going to stamp it right over the sentiment. Just going to do this one here. And again, just to fill in some white space. Okay, so we have that done. So let's just pull in our frame. And we're going to just adhere this down. Make sure it's on there straight. And it looks to be. Just put that aside. And then for the little bird, I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap, and I actually did stamp the bird in the shaded spruce, mostly because you'll notice that the leaves are a really solid color. So I wanted to utilize that instead of using my Stampin' Write markers to ink it up. So we're just going to stamp him out. Just like that. Now, the only drawback to this stamp set is you have to fussy cut. And I actually already did that. So here's the image, and then I fussy cut the little bird out. I figured I'd save time and save you guys having to watch me fussy cut. So all I'm going to do is I'm grabbing some dark Pool Party, and I am going to color in my bird. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just going to put in some shadows where there would be shadows. And I actually also grab Bermuda Bay in the Stampin' Write marker, and I'm just going to add a few extra dark lines because I want him to have a little bit of character. So we're just going to add a little bit of extra color. I'm just going to add a little bit under his eye and under his beak. I'm going to grab my Pool Party again. I'm going to go around his eye a little bit more. And then down his belly. So we're not doing anything fussy. Oh, wow, 33 degrees. That's crazy. Good for you. I'm glad to hear that. That's actually a heat wave for you, right? And then this is the light pool party. So what we're going to do is we are just going to color this little bird in completely. And I could use the brush end, but I'm so used to using the nib end just to give it a good coloring. I'm going to go over this again here just to add another layer, and it just adds a little bit more darkness. And we're going to let that dry. Then I'm going to grab some light crumb cake, and I'm just going to fill in the branch with some light crumb cake. I didn't want it very dark because all our colors other than this green are pretty light. And then for the flower, I'm grabbing my dark and light fresh freesia. And I'm going to follow the artist's lines. That's where my shadow would be. When the artist adds lines, it usually means that it's a shadow. So again, I'm not doing anything too crazy, just going over the lines that have already been created. And then this time I will use the brush, and we're just going to do a quick coloring of the petals. Just to fill that in. So we're not doing anything really special. Now on Saturday, I'm going to remake the Monday card for the Mail a Card Monday. And I think I forgot to pick my the person who was going to win that. So I'll have to do that. 9 degrees tomorrow. I put Liara to sleep. Aw, little sleepy baby. All right, so I'm just going over the dark areas one more time, because when you put a lighter color on the darker blend, you know that the alcohol is going to take away some of the color. So I like to add a little bit more darkness. This way it just makes it stand out a little bit more. And then I'm going to grab some light shaded spruce, and where the leaves have white veins, I'm just going to color over those white veins. So now they're green. Okay. Once that dries, you will notice them a little bit more. Now for the little bird, I'm just going to grab some clear Wink of Stella, and we're going to give him a quick coloring of Wink of Stella. We're going to just make him a little pretty bird. Okay, quick and easy. I'm going to grab some pearls, and I grab some dark Mango Melody, and we're going to hit these medium-sized pearls. We're going to give them a color just like that. The great part about having the blends, we can use them to color our embellishments. So let's pull in our card, and we're going to pop this frame up right on the front of the card. Of course, we have to have a little bit of dimension. So we're going to center this right on the center of the card. And see if we can't get this centered. That's probably good about there. Just going to check. I'm going just scooch it over just a hair. And then we're going to pop the bird up too. So let's just add some dimensionals to our little bird. Gotta love these little papers. Okay, so let's sit him right here. And then we're going to take our pearls and we're going to add them to the center of the flowers. I have to say the center of flowers are the worst part of an image to color for me. And then we're just going to add 2 little pearls to this corner. And I'm just lining them up. And then there's the front of our card. Nice, quick, and easy. So let's just put that aside for a second. I'm going to pull my mat back in, and we're going to do the inside of the card. I do have a layer of the pool party, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then my basic white, which is 5 1/4 by 4. And we are going to, again, let me just get this stamp. We're going to pull in our little leaf stamp. Oops, and the shaded spruce. And I'm going to ink it up. And I'm going to stamp it once. And then stamp it twice. And that's how we get the 2 colors for the shading. Let's ink it up again. And do it on the bottom. Do it once. And do it twice. Just a quick and easy way to decorate the inside of the card. And I'm going to just add some glue. Add it to my layer. And then let's add it to the center of the card. And there we go. So there we go. That's our first card. Now I forgot to grab an envelope, but for this card, I think what I would do, let me just see if I can grab this one really quick. Nope, no good. I would take the little bird or even the leaves and just stamp it in the front of the envelope. So here is card number 1. Just a quick and easy card taking advantage of the beautiful designer series paper. So let's just put that one aside. Get this out of our way, and we're going to go to card number 2. Now, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so like I said, it is the basic 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 card. And instead of having it open, I decided to make it into a little pocket because I really wanted to utilize this Hello Friend stamp. Now, I've seen a lot of cards that stamp the Hello Friend and then cut it out to add it to the front of their card, and I just didn't want to do that. So I ended up adding it to the center of the card. So we're going to start with our basic white, and it's actually 6 3/8 by 5 1/2. And then I scored it at 2 1/8, and that gives us our little pocket. And that also allows us to have a basic card size. I'm using the Pool Party 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and I decided to use the back side of the Designer Series paper and use the Pool Party color. So let's layer these two layers. This one is 5 1/4 by 4. And we're just going to layer this on top of each other, making sure it's pretty centered and straight, which it is not. I want to really make sure that it is straight on this one side at least, because what we're going to do now is we're going to layer this whole piece. Just want to make sure what side is the straightest. Right on the inside, just like that. So here's our little flap, okay, and I added it onto the inside. You can see I didn't get enough glue here, so let me just grab a piece of paper. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the corner and stick it under and just pull it out. Quick fix. Okay, so now that we have this piece, I'm going to grab my tear and tape. And what you want to do is you want to add your tear and tape, and you want to make sure that you lay it down and it is right to the edge of this little piece here. And let me just grab my cap, and I'm going to just rip it off right at the end. And we're going to do the same thing to this side. You want it, all I see is Iggy's hair. You want it to, sorry about that. There it is. I found it. Lay it down so it is right up against that edge. Just like that. I just want to make sure that this piece is going to fit in the center. And I am just going to take a smidge. I'm going to just line these two up. Because I did cut them, but I knew it was going to be just a little too big. So we're just going to line it in our cutter. And I'm just going to take a little tiny smidge off because we want this to fit in there nicely. Okay. So now that we have our tear and tape on, we can remove this paper and fold it over and adhere it down. So let's just do a check and it will fit. Okay. Now for the bottom piece, this is 5 3/8 by 2. Let me just check this one. And this is 5 1/4 by 1 7/8. But I'm going to flip it over. Now you'll notice on this one, the little bird is here. This one, it only came with the little tail. So I don't have to really worry about the direction of the Designer Series paper for this one. But it is a paper that is directional at some points. So we're just going to line this up. Just like that. And then before I put this down, I am just going to cut a length of, get my other scissors, cut a length of ribbon. And you know me, I cheat, so I'll pull out my glue dots. I do not like tying my bows after wrapping it around. Hi, Anna. Must be a... I like the subtle colors too. And it's funny, I should have pulled them out, but I didn't. When we got our, I don't even know what I did with them. I should have pulled them out. When we got our swag bag for on stage, the pencils that we received were colored just like the designer series paper. They're so cute, and I don't even know what I did with them. I'm a pen and a pencil hog. I just love pens and pencils. Okay, so I just am putting a length of ribbon right around the top of this piece, and I have it attached in the back with a glue dot, just quick and easy. And then I'm going to add some glue. I'm going to add it to the ribbon too, just like that. And I'm just going to lay this down right on the front of the card. And I want to get as close as I can to lining these sides up, because you will notice that. And then we're just going to adhere that. So there is the back of our card. And I stamped, excuse me, the flowers. And these were quick and easy. Let's pull in our mat again. And this time I actually did use some Pool Party. And these flowers match the designer series paper perfectly. So we're just going to stamp those flowers. And then we're going to grab our shaded spruce again with these little leaves. And I'm actually going to stamp and stamp again. This way I have one set of leaves that are darker and then one set of leaves that are lighter. And then we are going to fussy cut these babies out. Iggy's hair again. So we have our little flowers. And then we have, let me see if I can grab it here. Flute it all the way to the bottom. And our little leaves. Okay. So let's pull in our card. I did pop the flowers up. So you want to make sure that you do not add your dimensional to this back piece. So I am going to grab my dimensionals and I am actually going to add them. Oops. I shifted that ribbon. I'm just doing it half on and half off the ribbon so it'll hold that in place. Then I'm just going to put one more dimensional way down here at the bottom. This way you're sure to know that you did not get any of the dimensional on this back piece here. And I'm just going to add this right to the front of the card. Now for the little leaves, I'm just going to adhere them with some glue, and I'm putting the darker ones towards the bottom. This way it'll look like it's a little further away. And then I'm going to add the lighter ones to the top. I'm going to hit the dimensional, and I did. Let's turn it. Okay, just like that. Okay, let's pull in our pearls. This time I'm going to color two of the larger pearls because you'll notice on the inside of this flower, the center is pretty big. So I am just going to color up. There's another piece of Iggy hair. I'm just going to color up 2 of these pearls. And to take up some of the space, I'm taking the same Mango Medley dark, and I'm actually going to color around the edge of this center. And I'm going to do the same to this one. Just like that. And then we're going to grab our pearls. Oops. And we're going to add that pearl right to the center. Now you'll notice that the pearl is a little lighter in color than the Mango Medley around the center. So it just gives it a little bit more dimension. Ah. Yep. That's for sure. That's how I feel. It keeps freezing. I'm sorry. Okay, so there we go. Now let's grab our ribbon. And I am going to tie a quick bow. And go up and through, back through your fingers. And then you're going to put this tail through that loop. Just like that. Now this, I believe this ribbon is discontinued. I tried to order more because I really do like this, but I don't think, I did not see it in the catalog. I could be wrong. So if anybody knows any difference, let me know. But I did not see this ribbon in the catalog. So we're just going to trim these little tails. Let's get rid of those. Grab our glue dot. And we're just going to add this ribbon right there, just a little off center. Just like that. Let's put that aside for a second. Now we can grab our insert. Now let me see what it measures now, because I did cut a little bit off. Looks like it's about 4 7/8 by 3 3/4. And this one is 4 3/4 by 3 5/8. So we're just going to pull in our silicone mat again. It just gives us a better stamped image when we use a mat with the photopolymer. We could also use the foam mat. We could use this here. But my silicone mat was handy when I did it. So we're going to grab our hello stamp and our pool party. Just get rid of my scissors here. And we're going to ink this up. And we're going to get this as close to the center as we can. And give it a good stamp. Okay. Oh, we still want this out because we are going to grab these little flowers again. Just get rid of that leaf. And all I did was stamp these little flowers. Make sure I got a good enough ink just on the corners. Just like that. I don't know if I want to try this. Not bad. Okay. Let's pull in our piece. Add our glue. Now my hair. I actually did take the time yesterday and went and got my hair cut. I haven't had a haircut since, oh my goodness, I guess it's been about 2 years. It was out of control, so I did finally. Oh, yeah, the pool party is so light that you really do not see it on the stamp. It's there though, because you can see I can, not really, but it's because of the pool party. You can see it when I use the darker color. Okay, so here's the insert. It's a little stiffer now, so it should slide in. And you'll have to make sure that it's straight, but it'll slide right in. You can see the hello friend. Just make sure it's even in there. And then I'm going to pull my pearls back in. And let's see, I think I used the medium ones. And I'm just going to add one to this corner and one to this corner. Just like that. And again, for an envelope, I would stamp these flowers on the bottom left-hand corner. And there's card number 2, quick and easy. All right, so let's work on this cute little box. I'm utilizing both sides of the DSP. I did already fussy cut and stamped our little bird. Just get some stuff out of the way and let's pull in our paper. So we have a piece of basic white cardstock, and it's actually 11, I think it's 4 1/8. It is. And while I have the ruler, I scored it at 1/2 inch, 4 inches, 7.5. That's not right. Let's turn it this way. I think this is how I scored it. This is it. 3.5, 7, and 10.5. I mean, we could do it the other way, but this is how I'm going to write the directions. And then on the shorter side, I scored it at 1 1/16 on each side. So I did 1 1/16, and then I did 1 1/16. Now where we have our score lines, before I even fold, you can see the score lines. I'm going to take my ruler and I am going to mark it 1/2 an inch away from the score line, just like this. And it doesn't matter if you do it on the left hand side or the right hand side. You just want to make a 1/2 inch mark from the score line, and we are going to accept this one. We're going to go a 1/2 inch again, just like that. Then let's come up here and we're going to mark a 1/2 inch. Move our paper over a little, and then I'm going to mark it a 1/2 inch. And they're just little teeny tiny lines. So now we can fold and score. Thanks, Kathy. And so we're folding and burnishing all our sides. So now we're going to close it, and we're going to look for that 1/2 inch mark. And that is where you're going to cut a wedge. You're going to line your scissor up with that 1/2 inch, and you are going to cut it to where these lines intersect. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Line your scissors up with the 1/2 inch mark, and you're going to cut it up to the corner where your score lines intersect. We're going to go to the second score line, and we're going to do the same thing. And then right here, just like that, get rid of those pieces. This is the end, I forgot. Let's just add a 1/2 inch mark, because you want these little triangles on each of the pieces. So we got our 1/2 inch, and we're just going to go to the score line and 1/2 inch, and to the score line. I'm just going to do that again because I'm off by a little tiny piece. And then when we come down here, we're going to cut to where the score lines intersect. And then we're going to just cut this centerpiece at an angle, just like this, because this is where the box is going to attach. So let's come to this score line, and we're going to cut right down to where it intersects. Okay, so this is what we end up with, just like this. Now you're going to need to cut 3 pieces of your pool party, and these measure 3.5 by 1 7/8. And then I have the designer series paper, and this is 3.5 by 1 3/4. Now I didn't do any of this in advance. I'm really sorry. So we're just gonna layer this on our pieces, and we're gonna do this before we even assemble the box. Now the designer series paper is exactly the same length as the pool party. So we're just going to adhere these together, making sure it's on there, and you have about the same amount of space on the top and the bottom. And I don't think I have any birds showing on these pieces, so I don't have to worry. Oh, yep, here's one here. So when we put it on our box, we're just going to have to worry about the direction on our pieces. Okay, so there's our 3 pieces, although this little bird is sideways. And for the top of the box, we have pieces that are 3.5 by 7/8, and then 3.5 by 3/4. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to layer these together. The length of these really don't matter. It is the width that you have to worry about, because we're going to be cutting these to fit the top. You're having focusing issues. Oh my goodness. My camera and computer are now hardlined. I'm not using Wi-Fi. So, and I haven't been having any connection issues. There's nothing on in the house except this live stream. I've been trying to be pretty diligent. I think, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my better camera now that I have my computer hardlined. I'm wondering if my other camera will work even better. because it's a better camera than this one. So I think I'll try that for Saturday as an experiment. Okay, so now we have all our pieces. So what we're going to do is we are going to adhere these to our box. I'm doing this beforehand just to make it a little bit easier to get these pieces on. And you're going to line them up. You want to make sure that they're even top and bottom. And then we got one more piece, just like that. Okay, so while they're drying, let's grab our tear and tape. And I'm going to add tear and tape right close to this piece. I'm just going to cut this where it's an angle, just like that. And I won't be able to get an additional piece on here without it dangling over. So I'm just going to take off the tape. I'm going to add a little glue just so it's nice and secure. Oh, and I forgot to fold it. And we're going to adhere these two pieces. And you can use the pool party as your guide to line up your score lines. Okay, so you just want to make sure this is right to the edge, just like that. And we're just going to grab our bone folder, and I'm just going to push that down. Okay, so now we have our little box. For the bottom, what you're going to do is just add some glue and close this up. And then on this one, we're going to add our glue and then add our glue and close that up. Once this dries, I'll go back. It might need to be trimmed a little bit, but I'm just going to open up the box, and with my bone folder, I'm just going to make sure that this glue adheres. If you put a lot of glue, it's going to seep through onto your table. And you can see that it is running off a little bit. So I'm just going to come in and trim this off right here. Okay. So there's our box. Now for the top pieces, we're going to grab these little pieces. And I'm just going to add my glue. And you could use tear and tape if you wanted. I'm going to use a good amount of glue. And we're going to lay this and center it right on this piece. We're doing it an easier way than trying to figure out what your angles are. We're just going to glue these right on. And we're going to center them. Now the bottom of these pieces of your top tabs are wider at the bottom. So you want to make sure that you have enough room and it's hitting the whole piece. And let's just put one more on. And we're going to let this dry for a minute before we do anything else. So do you see what I mean? You want to make sure that when you lay this piece on, it does come to the end on both sides. Okay, so let's let that dry. I said that I did my bird. I also punched out from the tailor-made tags a tag, and we are going to stamp the sentiment while we're waiting. Let's see where that sentiment is. While we're waiting for those top pieces to dry. Oh, I came on at 7, but you'll always be able to catch the replay. The replay will be available for as long as you want. And I'll also have a PDF with all the dimensions for the projects in the room tomorrow, hopefully by 12. Okay, so we're going to pull out that shaded spruce again. And I know this sentiment is pretty big, so we're going to try to, the best we can to fit this on this tag. And there we go. And there's our birthday tag. So we have our little bird and our tag all ready. Our little box should be pretty dry now. Okay, so we added our tops. All we're going to do now is take our scissors and we're going to cut off the excess on each side. Just like that. That's 2. My fingers are full of glue. Whoops. And then 1 more. Like I said, it's much easier doing it this way than trying to figure out your angles and getting frustrated. So now we're going to fold it just like you would a 4-sided box. You're going to put 1 tab, 1 tab, this tab, and you're just going to lift. Oops, it came undone. Just going to lift it and tuck that under. And now that the box is created, you can see that right here it's sticking off the edge a little bit. So let's just trim that down. Okay, so here's our box. I want to get my bird on, but again, we want to make sure that the dimensionals are not touching another edge. So let's grab the dimensionals, and I'm going to actually add them to the piece that I want the bird on. And we're not coloring him in or anything. So we're going to lay this right here on the top of the box. We're going to grab our happy birthday. Just going to use a glue dot. And as everybody knows, my room is usually pretty cool, so my glue dots do not stick very well. And then we're going to get 1 more bow here. Let's grab the scissors that cut my ribbon really well. And then we're just going to go between the fingers, under and through. And then this tail we're going to wrap around this loop we just made and pull it through to the right. And then we have our nice little bow. You want to make sure you tighten this knot as much as you can. It'll give you a nice fluffy bow. You can always fix those loops. Grab our tails. Let's give them a good trim. Get that out of the way. Going to grab our glue dots again, and I'm actually going to pull one off. Oh, they're not as cold as they usually are. And we're just going to add the bow right here to the center of the box. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bone folder and just stick it under here so I can press that down really good. Otherwise the box will collapse. And then there we have our 3 little projects today. Our triangle box, our hello card that has an insert instead of it opening and closing, and then our cute little hugs, you have my love and support. So ladies, thanks for joining. If you make a purchase by Sunday night, you'll get a swag bag and a half a package of designer series paper. Yes, very easy triangle box. Quick and easy. That's what I like. You could actually make a whole set of them, and for a birthday party, and use it as a treat box. You can make it so it's 3 more, and it would be a pretty little centerpiece for your table also. So if you make a $35 order purchase by Monday, you'll get one of my swag bags and a half a pack of designer series paper. Thanks for joining. Oh, you're welcome, Dawn. Thank you. And I'll be back on Saturday to let me pull him out here. Where the heck did he go? To remake and give away this card. I colored the little hedgehog in my coloring class for Patreon. I'll show you how I did that. I charge $3 a month to teach you how to color. But I'll show you how I colored this cute little hedgehog instead of just coloring him in with all one color. And I'll give away the card. So I'll see you on Saturday. Thanks for joining, and I will talk to you Saturday. Bye-bye.